These right here are YouTubers named Matt and Andy, who run the channel Finders Beepers History Seekers. In March 2023, they uploaded a chilling video titled Scary Abandoned House Had a Body Under the Bed. Their channel is dedicated to urban exploration, where they frequently share footage of their thrilling adventures in mysterious abandoned locations. What sets their channel apart from other urban exploration channels is their dog named Bear. They always bring him along on their explorations and even equip him with his own GoPro camera to record moments they might otherwise overlook. This unique perspective not only showcases Bear's adventures, but also adds an extra layer of charm and intrigue to their videos. In this particular video, the trio ventured into an abandoned house located somewhere in the UK. As they entered the house, they discovered various items including old history books, kitchen utensils, and other household artifacts. Up until that point, everything seemed fairly normal. However, about 30 minutes into their exploration, they stumbled upon something very strange.
Where's he gone in here? What have you found, Bear? I wonder if it's that curtain flapping around in wind, because you just never know with things like that. Oh, it's good in here though. But look at it. And then why has that got a lock on it though for a bathroom cabinet? That makes no sense at all. Bear, you're just causing so much bother. What the f***? Did you hear that? Someone has definitely just run down those stairs. Where is he, Bear? Hello? Hello? Bear's shaking. Hello? That weren't just my imagination, that were it?
I thought it were him.
No, because he was stood with us. Hello? We're not secure. We're not going to do anything. We're not going to hurt you. Urban explorers. Just having a look round.
As they heard footsteps echoing down the stairs, they immediately went down to investigate. At one point, they called out to whoever was inside, assuring them that they were merely there to explore and meant no harm to anyone. After receiving no response, they continued to investigate the source of the mysterious footsteps.
I'm going to have to watch it back. That was definitely somebody running down the stairs. 100% that was someone running down the stairs. I feel sick, Andy. That were horrible.
There's only one way in and one way out here.
I know there is.
Unless it gets through a window, but we'd have heard them, wouldn't we?
Don't say that, because that means that they're still in here. I'm fucking freaked. I feel sick. I feel sick. That's the way in and out. They must have scrambled through there like mega fast. They've got to be pretty thin because it's not easy to get in and out of either. What have you found, Bear? What are you looking for? I don't know what to do now. Because you've put me, it's your fault, you've put me on edge.
Why is it my fault?
No, I mean, you've put me on edge because you're like, they can't have got out of there that quick. Bear, what are you doing? He's covered in cobwebs. Do you know the way of doing this? We can watch his footage back. I'll have to do it on his camera.
Yeah.
Come on.
After searching thoroughly and finding no one inside, Matt came up with a smart idea to check the GoPro footage from their dog. To their shock, just moments before they heard footsteps coming down the stairs, the camera had captured something very disturbing. To their surprise, there was actually someone hiding under the bed in the second-floor bedroom, and you can clearly see parts of their face and hands before the dog runs away. After this disturbing discovery, Matt and Andy stayed in the house for an additional 20 minutes, contemplating whether to leave or remain inside, all while feeling on edge the entire time. And it must have been incredibly scary to review the footage and realize that someone had been watching them the entire time. In November of 2017, a YouTuber named John uploaded a terrifying video titled Scariest Thing I Have Ever Caught on Camera to his channel Exploration Unknown. John's channel is dedicated to urban exploration, and he often shares footage of him exploring various abandoned locations throughout North America. In this particular video, John chose to explore an abandoned farmstead located somewhere in the United States. According to John, the farm stretches over 100 acres of land, but has been abandoned for a considerable time. Since then, it has been rumored to be haunted, with multiple reports of ghost sightings and other bizarre occurrences. Despite all of this, John decided to investigate the farm at 3 in the morning. He began his exploration by venturing deep into the woods to locate the abandoned farm. As he walked toward the location, John noticed that the area was overrun with overgrown trees, and the various structures appeared severely damaged, with some on the verge of collapsing. This suggested that the farm had been abandoned and neglected for a significant amount of time. As John continued his exploration, he moved from one area to another and noticed all the machinery and equipment that had been left behind. However, while investigating one of the sheds, that's when he encountered something truly disturbing.
I'm not gonna lie, that really freaked me out when I first saw it. Which is weird because it's like somebody's jacket just hanging there. And this old barn garage. Oh wow. That actually still got, oh wow. It's unopened motor oil. That's really cool. There's a bunch of cans up here. This is probably not the safest structure to be inside of right now. It is all collapsed everywhere around me except there's one little spot I'm in. Here's what I want to show you guys. Okay guys, what is here in front of me? The 1953 5-window Chevrolet 3100. This is my dream truck. This is the truck I want.
As John walked into the garage, he noticed several sealed cans of motor oil lying on the shelves. Outside, he discovered an old 1950s truck, suggesting that the owners must have suddenly abandoned the farm. This detail was particularly alarming, given that the farm is rumored to be haunted. However, as John made his way toward another part of the property, his camera captured something that completely changed the course of the investigation.
Okay, there's the old barn in the woods. This is actually a thriving farm at one point. Still a pretty solid looking old barn except for that corner. I just love being out in the woods at night. Something really freaking cool about it. Okay. Something really freaking cool about it.
If you look closely at the moment when John walks out of the barn, you can clearly see a woman with long hair, dressed entirely in white, standing beside the trees and staring intently at him. However, John was unaware of her presence and continued to explore the farm for an additional 10 minutes. Fortunately, he did not capture or encounter the woman during that time. It wasn't until he returned home and reviewed the footage that he noticed the woman staring directly at him. The woman's identity remains a mystery, along with the question of whether John's experience that night was paranormal, especially considering the farm's reputation for being haunted. However, since John has not provided any further updates regarding the woman, this mystery remains unsolved.
I literally ate shit coming down that hall. Oh fuck, what the hell was that? Holy shit. I'm never going in there again.
This right here is a YouTuber named Derek Baker, who in October of 2019 uploaded a video titled Abandoned House Sent Me Running Scared on his channel Baker X Derek. His channel primarily consists of his adventures on his motorcycle all across the United States. In this particular video, Derek was riding his motorcycle on the highway in California when he noticed an abandoned house on a hill and decided to go inside. Upon entering, it was evident that the house was quite messed up, implying that someone had already been there. Just a few minutes after entering, things began to take a very creepy and disturbing turn.
Okay. Oh my god, this is creepy. Dude, this is fucking terrifying. Oh my god, look at the size of this bedroom. Dude, this is fucking scary. I need to make sure no one's in here. Like in those bedrooms. Oh my god. Dude. What a fucking house. Oh my gosh. Holy fucking shit, this is scary. Dude, this is how horror movies start.
If you look closely at the back of the bathroom, there seems to be a white spot that oddly looks like a face. Derek, however, doesn't realize this until he reviews the footage later. As he continues to explore the house, the situation becomes even more disturbing when he starts hearing voices.
Ooh, fucking heebie-jeebies, dude. Dude, that dark room. I kept feeling something was gonna jump out at me. What's down here? Hello? Hello? Oh man, this is fucking... Dude, I think I hear somebody. I think I hear something. Oh shit.
As Derek made his way downstairs to explore the basement, he suddenly heard a loud noise. Scared for his life, he ran for the exit but tripped and fell. He eventually got back on his motorcycle and escaped the place. Many viewers in Derek's video think the noise came from a homeless person trying to warn him to leave. While squatters don't always hide in the dark, they often use it to stay hidden when someone comes in unexpectedly. Sometimes the sounds they make are a way to warn visitors to go away. If Derek had gone further, he might have been attacked by whoever was hiding in the darkness. Fortunately, Derek was able to escape the potentially dangerous situation just in time. As of the video's upload, he has not returned back to the house. This is a YouTuber named Chris Hill who in July 2023 uploaded a video on his channel, Urbex Hill, in which he recorded footage of his disturbing encounter while exploring an abandoned church. Chris's channel mainly focuses on documenting his creepy experiences at various abandoned locations. In this video, Chris chose to visit Holton Avenue to film the abandoned church and the surrounding buildings. For those unfamiliar with the area, it is recognized as a particularly creepy street in Cleveland, as it is entirely deserted and abandoned. In the early 1900s, the first Hungarian Baptist church was constructed there, but it eventually fell into neglect and was left abandoned, along with the other buildings on the street. In April 2016, the remains of a woman named Jessica Coleman were discovered there after she had gone missing, and sadly, her attacker was never identified. As Chris entered the abandoned church to film, he observed creepy graffiti, shattered glass, and deteriorating walls. While exploring the basement, Chris found evidence indicating that someone had recently been inside the church. He also positioned several cameras throughout the building to capture various perspectives, and about 10 minutes into his exploration, one of the cameras on the main floor recorded something very disturbing.
What is that? I could have swore I heard something. That's an animal. That's weird. That was upstairs. Oh shit.
Chris initially suspected that an animal was responsible for the strange noises echoing through the church. However, his suspicions were quickly dismissed when he heard a loud door slam coming from upstairs. Realizing that someone might be in the church with him, Chris began to search the area, but he found no one. Feeling unsafe, he decided to step outside and explore the other buildings on the street. To his surprise, the surrounding houses were in even worse condition than the church. Many of the houses looked as though they could collapse at any moment. Chris, however, decided to investigate the most damaged house in the area. About 30 minutes into his exploration, he decided to venture down into the basement. It was at this moment that he stumbled upon something terrifying.
There's a basement. Oh, that looks creepy as f***. This is sketchy. This cannot be safe. Hope I don't find a body down here. It actually looks like it's just underneath the house. It's not really a basement. Still creepy. Sorry. I didn't know nobody lived there. Shit. It smelled like piss. I knew somebody was in there.
As Chris entered the basement, he heard a sound coming from the ground floor, prompting him to quickly get out. When he returned upstairs to investigate, a person holding a baseball bat suddenly pulled back the curtains, afraid for his life. Chris quickly apologized and ran out of the house. Despite the horrible state of the supposedly abandoned house, he realized that someone was indeed living there. The individual was likely a homeless person or a squatter who didn't want him around. It remains uncertain whether this was the same individual who had slammed the door earlier at the church, or if it was a different person. This unexpected encounter took Chris by surprise, ultimately leading him to decide to leave the area for good. In September of 2015, a YouTuber named Dan uploaded a terrifying video titled "Exploring Creepy Abandoned Children's Asylum" to his channel. This is Dan Bell. His channel is dedicated to urban exploration, and he's been documenting footage of his bizarre encounters in various abandoned locations for over a decade. In this particular video, Dan decided to explore an abandoned children's asylum known as the Gundry Sanitarium, situated in Baltimore, Maryland, constructed in 1880. The Gundry Sanitarium was one of the first private mental health facilities in Maryland. It played a significant role in providing essential care to those with psychiatric needs. Originally dedicated to treating nervous disorders in women, the facility later expanded its services to include care for children with acute psychiatric issues. This transition reflected the growing recognition of children's mental health concerns at the time. However, over the years, the facility faced challenges in adapting to the evolving landscape of mental health care. As a result, it was ultimately shut down in the early 2000s. Since then, the facility has been completely abandoned and has gained a reputation for being haunted. There have been multiple reports from urban explorers and ghost hunters claiming to have seen spirits of former patients. These reports often include accounts of strange noises, cold spots, and feelings of being watched. Despite all this, Dan chose to go on a solo exploration of the abandoned asylum. As he began his exploration, Dan showed his viewers the building's poor condition, with crumbling walls and ceilings. Some structures even appeared as if they could collapse at any given moment. As he explored further, he came across piles of junk and trash scattered everywhere. The first few minutes of his video went pretty smoothly, as he didn't hear or see anything unusual. However, just moments later, while exploring one of the rooms, that's when Dan encountered something truly disturbing.
Shit. Fucking battery exploded.
According to Dan, after he heard the footsteps, he didn't think much of them and dismissed them as an animal walking around the building. But disturbingly, just moments after hearing the noise, his camera's battery suddenly exploded. Dan, again thinking this was probably a coincidence, dismissed this detail. He then quickly replaced the battery and started recording again. However, that's when his camera captured something that completely changed the course of his investigation. If you look closely at the footage, you can clearly see the shadow of someone or something hiding inside the room. But Dan was completely unaware of this detail at the time and continued exploring. As Dan went upstairs to explore the rest of the building, that's when his camera captured something once again. If you look closely at the point when Dan walks towards the door, you can see what appears to be an eye peeking out of the hole before it suddenly disappears. But Dan once again didn't notice this detail at the time. It wasn't until he reviewed the footage later that he saw the eyes peeking out of the hole. Dan, unaware of any of these chilling encounters, continued with his exploration. However, as he stepped inside one of the rooms, that's when he started hearing voices coming out of an empty room. It's evident that a fast whisper can be heard just as Dan was looking at the red stains. Although it's hard to comprehend what it said, one particular comment from Dan's original video makes this encounter even more disturbing. The comment mentions that the voice sounded like someone saying, "I was shot here." After reading this particular comment, it does sound like the voice said, "I was shot here." If this is actually the case, then this encounter becomes very alarming, given that Dan was directly looking at the red stains. This could explain why the voice said it was shot there. But again, this is merely a theory based on a comment left by Dan's viewer and has not been verified or debunked. Ultimately, it's up to you to decide whether Dan's encounter in the children's asylum was paranormal or simply a squatter or homeless individual stalking him.